Hello, everyone. My name is Kai Bjorn from Corporate Connections Canada, and I'm here on episode 4 of the Bjorn Identity. Really excited to continue the process of bringing my message to the online community vis-a-vis the Bjorn Identity, powered and pushed by Corporate Connections, where leaders connect. Corporate Connections, where leaders connect around the world to empower themselves and others to create opportunities and meaningful change in their organization, community, and lives. We're building a premier executive networking organization in the world, catalyzing our members' business, profession, and personal growth like no other offering. So my guest, Trevor, he hates it when I read this vision piece. We basically put great people, executive community people together to generate a benefit, personal, professional. You do that through building strong relationships. And here on the Bjorn Identity, that's what it's all about. It's having strong, powerful relationships and learning from one another on different things. And right before I introduce you, Trev, today's topic resonates real close to my heart, and I know yours. It's raising the almighty dollar. And so that's fundraising, sponsorship, and there's a definite correlation between the business community and the philanthropy community on that raise. And I think there's a lot of similarities and things that you can learn from. So we're going to dive into that. But without further ado, my good buddy and partner, Trevor Botkin, is here to work with us. Hi, Trevor.
Hey, Kai. It's good to be here. I want my own slide. I want the Trevor, not identity, Trevor Identity Crisis.
Yeah, well, there's no crisis in Trevor's identity. Great. You know who and what you are. But no, I'm really happy that you're here. And this topic is interesting because you and I both are heavily engaged in raising funds in a multitude of capacity. You right now with the Geordie Theatre, which is close to your heart as a thespian, as an actor, prior
as a parent, as an Anglophone living in Montreal,
all that stuff.
All of that.
The charity, raising money for the causes within our organization. And I've got a background and a history of having done this before. And so raising money, and it was interesting, I put some notes down here. Fundraising. A fundraising event is an event designed to raise awareness and donations for an organization's mission. Often, the most effective method to raise funds quickly is to ask for help. You know, it's funny because that's what it is, man. We ask for help. We put a campaign together and we go raise money. Real easy, right? Just simple. Go find people, grab cash, and everything works out.
You make it sound far simpler than I think it is for most of us.
I'm being facetious, man. There is nothing easy.
I'm like, really?
About
that sounds simple when you say it that way, because there's nothing simple about asking for money. Not today. I don't know if it was easier in the past.
No, it never has been. I mean, you're pulling dollars, resources, whatever it is, away from someone for a cause, and so, traditionally, all fundraising activity that produces a result, it's because there's some sort of affinity that someone has towards a cause. Great, So, when I was raising money for sports, I hit all the sporting people who were, involved in my sport because they have an affinity towards it. You're raising money for the Geordie Theatre, phenomenal cause, great theater.
Yeah,
you're tapping all the people in the theater world that you have access to.
But it's not even just the theater world, and I think that's where it comes interesting. Historically, certainly, I think we go into our communities and we try to raise money, but it's oftentimes our communities are built of people who need that help or need access to those services.
100%, Trev. But
so
I'm pulling it today. Trevor and I work together, so by no means am I short with Trevor, rude with Trevor, anything other than loving Trevor.
I'm used to
but
it.
I'm going to pull you in because you're right. You're sitting on a board for a real good cause. You're saddled with running that, and you're saddled with making a difference and having effective campaigns in a multitude of different areas of the theater house, the Geordie
But then
operations.
my question always comes
I wanna
back
stay,
to is
I want to
how
stay
do
on
you
raising money.
Right.
You do events to raise money to fuel all that great stuff.
is that still the right way to raise money? That would be my question to you.
No.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, we can finish the episode right there.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
so-
done. No, it's not. I look, and fundraising and sponsorship are both methods of securing funds and support for a cause or organization, but they are different in their objectives.
Right.
Fundraising is focused on collecting donations for a specific purpose. Sponsorship is focused on marketing and building relationships.
Partnering. Yeah.
There's a, we talked about, there's a correlation between, what I read there could be, your network and transactions, generating opportunities for your business. And so why I say no so quickly is because I think that there's different approaches that we need to take to achieve the result that we want. And so things have changed from the traditional model. You Google fundraising and it gives you the top 4 things to do to fundraise and, sponsorship.
Yeah, there's courses you can take.
And all that great stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it's our ability to be creative and say, understand the mission, understand what I'm trying to accomplish, simplify it so everybody can. I'm not an actor. I don't know anything about acting. I know.
Could have been.
Probably not. But I could have. I always thought maybe I could be a drummer. I never got into the acting, but I thought I could be a
non sequitur.
yeah, but listen, we're going deep. It's all about the relationship. Yeah, that's why I bought the drums for my son. But to go back, I think that having that understanding that if we can simplify it, because
storytelling.
to give people the opportunity to achieve more in life vis-a-vis a multitude of different channels. The theater is one of them. That's compelling. That's why you're involved. I'm very fond of you. So I'm sure that once I deep dive with you and fully understand what you're trying to accomplish, I'm going to want to help. But imagine, we simplify it. And so I come back to being a little more succinct when we look at this topic, because you don't have half an hour with me to explain what you're trying to do and tell me all those great stories. You have a few minutes. So the art and the thing I want to dive into today is looking at the fundraising bucket and the sponsorship bucket, which are the two vehicles to generate resources to be able to finish the sentence,
Right.
whether it's a respite center like with Palo DeVito with our golf tournament,
Angelman,
whether it's the Geordie, or whether it's for an athlete that wants to go to the Olympics.
Right.
One of those things. And so when I look at this, having a good understanding of, I'm going to take the Geordie as an example. When I look at fundraising, this is the community. These are all the ticket holders. These are all the people that have come. These are all the people that have sent their kids to your summer camps. These are the ex-actors or the people that have come through the ranks, the old board members, that whole community piece that have some sort of affinity, and setting up something simple and easy that enables them to stay engaged, right? That's that fundraising campaign, $50 a year so you stay up to date with what's going on, whatever it may be, and there's a campaign around that. When I look at that sponsorship side, because you put on shows and you want to get some sponsors for the shows, usually they're always in kind. Someone wants to give you something and then but that becomes that marketing thing for an ROI.
Right.
The ROI, it's there, but it's not as relevant in our fundraising stuff. But it's really relevant when we sort of start talking about sponsorship. What can we do and what can we offer?
Right, because you're saying fundraising becomes this idea of I give so that I feel good about having given. Whereas
I give, I feel good, and I'm engaged and I'm implicated.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a feel good. Whereas sponsorship, there has to be a return. There's an investment. And they want to see a return on that investment.
Tangible.
Yeah.
And so this is an interesting thing. And it's the same. We were talking about this before we went on air today, just with what we do, which is we build networking groups or, peer-to-peer groups. We put a bunch of business people together.
Sure.
That are like-minded, have a similar level of success. Network success, and by default, everyone knows someone, so we can all support each other. And we were talking about our community and our meetings. That's that fundraising, right? That is the fundraising. That's supporting one another. That's making introductions. That's inviting a guest that I want to have you meet because I think there could be value. And so in episode 3, we talked about that being a connector. And so if we have, our community and everyone's aware that I know someone that someone could benefit from, let me help them.
Right.
Let me be proactive. Let me be engaged with my fellow members. That's that fundraising piece. And then generating, whether it's collaborative or direct opportunities, that's your sponsorship. Right? That's that benefit. And so it's kind of interesting to me when I break it down. I'm like, sort of makes sense. And so we have a golf tournament for the Angelman with Paolo DeVito.
Right. June 8th.
June 8th, we raise, upwards of, $100,000. Hopefully we'll hit that tranche this year. But it's kind of interesting how, when you break down how to achieve the result we want, we lean heavy on our members because, it's one of us. Largest respite center in Eastern Canada in Quebec is Paolo's Respite Center. And so we want to support him and help him. And so we educate our membership and we...
Well, he also doesn't ask for much, right?
He doesn't.
It's one of those
But he's a member. He's one of us,
right.
man.
But he's also, I think he's one of the first people to always help.
100%.
You know what I mean? If he can help, I'm like, your brother stores his boat there, my brother stored his car there. Anytime somebody comes in town, he's like, I'll put him up in my hotel. Like he hosts our parties.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's so incredibly generous so that when he does say, hey, I have a golf tournament, would love some support, everyone's like, hell yeah.
And that's that fundraise, that community.
Yeah.
What can I do to help?
Yeah.
It could be volunteer. There could be, a few dollars. It could be, and so it's interesting when you look at it.
The highlight of my year is to go make breakfast at the golf tournament. Like
100%,
I look forward to it.
No, I know you look forward to it to the point that it's our event. We sponsor the event, and it's the Corporate Connections golf tournament on behalf of the Angelman Foundation. And so, but as we were chatting about it, I'm raising money. I'm pushing it like you are. And I've got everything melded together as one campaign. And when we were preparing for this, I raised $700,000 when I went to the Olympics. And I never, ever separated it.
Oh, really?
It was much more transactional because I needed the money for this. It was me. But I never brought them into these two sides. And that similarity when I look at our community supporting one another and generating opportunities for your fellow members and blah, 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 that's that fundraising. And then at the end of the year saying, I closed $1 million of business vis-a-vis this group. There's your sponsorship transactional. And so I started to think, and I'm curious with you, with Jordy, as we go along this sort of this line of thought, we lean on our members for participation and to push it out there so more people are aware. But then we need to pivot and sort of look at sponsor. We whole sponsor, food sponsor, title sponsor, that's transactional. We're getting dollars and we need to produce a result. The other ones feel good.
Right.
We all want to help Paolo because we love him.
How do we identify and then market that return before? Because obviously I think after an event happens, you don't have to really justify the return on investment if they had a great time until the next year when you come back and say, hey, doing it again. And if they can't tie whether it's an increase in sales or it's access to, you know what I mean? And so
see value.
What is the value and how do you measure that value? And then how do you proposition that value at the front end so that you identify why they would do that sponsorship in the first place?
More work. We blend it all together. We send out a flyer. Exciting, for the golf tournament. Right. Come for a beautiful day, blah, blah, blah. We do our post-mortem, thanks for attending. We're going to set a date for next year. And it's as if every single person that was engaged is the same and we treat you the same. And so I just found it kind of interesting that if we had separated it out, we're pulling in, around $24,000, $25,000 was whole sponsors. Right. So these are companies that want to leverage their brand on a whole in view of the community of golfers that are coming.
And have like 15 to 20 minutes of quiet time with business owners as they pull up to that hole and spend
some
time
sort
with
of
you.
activation.
Yeah, of course.
So shouldn't we look at it and say, how many people are going to be coming by? How can we preemptively set it up so they're aware that when they get to the hole, it's this and this is good for these businesses, and giving some more context to facilitate the connectivity, ROI? Probably. And in my head, as I'm going through, I'm like, yeah, I could sort of separate that piece out.
There's a tactical approach.
And there's a tactical approach that you're going to get access. Plus, we're going to send out an email, and we'll highlight your brand, and we'll post you on our website. And whereas, our community, the members, they don't give a shit. They're there to help Paolo, like you said, because they love him. So you're with the Geordie Theatre, that's close and personal to you, and you're in looking at the fundraising campaign. How's that going? And I want to just some thoughts, not to put you on the spot, but I'm curious. Does this change how you look at it a little bit? Because you've been aware of you've been part of the theater. Yeah. You've been a feature at the theater. Now you're a board member and involved with the theater. So you have historicals and all that great information. Bringing this topic the way we just positioned it, does it change your mindset or your thought process? Yeah, I mean, I'm currently in the process of also trying to understand the shift in Canada in terms of how we fundraise, especially in the increasing sort of interest rates and the market that we're in. I think people are a little bit more sensitive to spending money. So I think it then becomes a really interesting of where you start saying sponsoring or fundraising for an English language children's theater in Quebec. How do you make that link back to whether it's corporate interests or personal interests? But don't go too deep. Look at it from. I'm a miner, dude. I go deep on everything. I know you do, but I'm just saying when you look at it, you have community that love what you do. They give their time. They're going to give you a couple bucks every year just because it's part of them. So that's your fundraising, and you treat them a certain way. And then now you want to get some corporate dollars, maybe small, medium, whatever it is. I come back to why do I feel corporate dollars are important? And part of it is a conversation I had with the executive director when I joined the board. And I said, what's your vision? And she says, I want to get to the point where I never have to charge for a theater ticket. I said, that's interesting. What do you mean? She goes, I want to run every show at a complete loss. I said, why? She goes, because I want to make sure that every child that wants to see theater and again, if we step back, the pieces of theater that Geordie produces travel all across Eastern Canada. They go into junior highs and high schools. So for us, like Sec 1 through Sec 5, but across all these age groups. And it's always subject matters of like anti-bullying or identity or all that. So it's really important stuff for kids to hear. And in a lot of these communities, it's the only outside art that comes in. So it's important. So like 50,000 kids a year are exposed to these conversations that I think are really important. And in a way that me as a parent, I can't have that conversation with my daughter without her rolling the eyes and leaving the room. Can't. But if she sees it in a play, now I have a chance, right? And that's my experience as an artist, as a parent, as a business owner. Yeah. So I looked at it and I said, that's really interesting. So then I go, it's not kind of like where we have big theaters where you come in and it's Broadway and all of these things. We're talking about the audience is school kids. Who's paying for these school kids to see it is the schools. Schools don't have budgets. We're underfunding our schools as it is. I'm like, okay, this is an interesting thing. So then, where I had a conversation with Bruce with recycling, they do e-waste. It's an interesting thing for them as a business because they'd love to get all the e-waste from the schools. So now I'm reframing the paradigm of why would corporate interests, and then the big thing we came up with was what you just talked about from sponsorship, but on a different side of it is going all the skill sets that we teach in acting are super important in a business environment, right? Active listening, knowing your audience, accepting when somebody says, hey, you should do it this way, and going, thank you.
and accepting that and moving it, collaboration. And so we even created 2 different workshops, one on public speaking for introverts, extroverts, and everyone in between. Because as a business owner.
See, this is it, Trev. This is interesting because I know you. I don't want to go any deeper into the mechanism of Geordie.
Sure.
But just that piece, I learned a hell of a lot more about what you do there and what you're trying to do. And I'm a guy that goes to buys the ticket for the show and brings my kids and
but that was always that issue of like, if we just do gala fundraiser, we just do big events, you're bringing the same community and you're kind of milking the same skinny cow each time, which is an issue. So how do you broaden your base? How do you
milking the same skinny cow?
So how do you get a bigger audience, and then how do you create these links? Because if me as the president of the board, if I invite you out, and you come and you donate and you spend your $500, if I leave the board, do you come out the next time? No. And that's been the issue.
One and done,
right. And
but that is interesting, and I look from a networking. That's who we are and what we are, and that's the Bjorn Identity. It's driven by corporate connections where leaders connect.
Did you write a book?
And I did write a book. And so when I look at it, is there some business acumen? Because when I read that little blurb I did at the beginning, the distinguishing the 2 elements, it just gets me thinking. And so from a business...
I'd never looked at it that way, by the way.
No, me neither. And so really I come back to just sort of flip it into the front end, which is you're tasked with generating resources so the people that are driving Geordie are able to do what they want to do, which is have fully funded shows. So they're not skimping. They're able to deliver the full pow whack. So we got to go find the resources.
Right.
And so I look at it from... from a networking standpoint, I start thinking we have to have some succinct way of presenting empowerment of our next generation of leaders.
Yeah.
I mean,
but even just some of the conversations.
Because this is what you and I do every day.
Sure.
When we look at, small, medium, large cap financing, legal offices, accounting firms, business brokers, or whatever the heck it may be, who do they want to meet? Why do they want to meet them? How can we engage and connect people so it produces a positive result? But it's like that's commercial. We don't do that when it comes to this fundraising piece. We say, who can we lean on? What's the easiest path of least resistance to go and achieve it? And I think that there's a correlation between the 2. When I raised money for the Olympics, I quickly went and understood why someone wanted to be involved with me and what could I give them that was a benefit to them to generate money. Like it was very commercial.
Was that intuitive?
Because it was 100% for me. Because it was a means to the end.
Okay.
If I didn't generate 100 G's, I couldn't do this. If I didn't generate another 100 G's, I couldn't do this.
Okay.
And so it was kind of interesting from my side when I was building it out. It was extremely tactical, and it was fundraising, sailors that wanted to be part of my experience and my engagement, and sponsors that were willing to give me hard, cold cash for some return on investment. And so it's been a nice transition into the world I'm in now, which of networking and
as an
connection.
Entrepreneur, yeah, for sure.
And it's something I think that we should look at with causes like Geordie is, could we put that business case together that enables us to have the conversation in a very simple, easy way that others can also have? Because I don't want my kids being bullied. I have 3 kids. They've grown up and shit happens and circumstances happen that I can't fix.
Oh, the world's changing
so I think
faster
it's
than we can
to
adapt.
have a vehicle like you have, and especially into territories that possibly need it badly and then they are desperate for it. We need to have the resources to go and do it. And in my head, it's funny. It's this shift on how I can help you because it's not a bunch of guys in tights bouncing around a stage.
There was that one show that I was in tights bouncing around a stage with Peter McCusker. Robin Hood. But I think it's interesting. Most of us don't like the word no. and I can only assume that you, over the years of all your sponsorship and fundraising, you probably got a lot of no's.
I'm going to say no, but
No,
I
really?
did get a lot of.
You 100% of the time.
I got,
you
but
closed.
the way you're saying it is wrong. I've got a lot of people that weren't willing to participate. But one of the tricks, which is apropos for business as well, is to present something which is a maybe.
Not willing to participate is a euphemism for no. You know that, right?
Yeah. But I see this is the
mindset. That's a mindset.
You know, if I could create an environment that was spectacular, that empowered children, and was able to give a return on investment that equated to a certain dollar figure, would you be willing to participate?
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah,
you know, there's styles. That's why I say the correlation with business. It's not do you need this widget? No.
Do you want to give a bunch of money to a bunch of kids?
Yeah, but
no, I'm good.
But
Thank
it's
you.
the same thing with business. Is you want to buy a chocolate bar. How many?
It's how you frame it.
It's how you frame it.
It's how you frame it. It's the storytelling.
And I'm just in my head. I find it interesting that we do this day and night, and then when we shift over here to our passions,
we forget
because
the learned
this
lessons.
is not a paid gig for you. This is a passion. This is your giving back to the community because you've had a succcessful
This is me
acting
biting
career.
off more than I can chew. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's. I think these are the fruitful conversations that we have when we're able to put some context. Because it was funny how you entered into this. You said, "Well, the economy." The state of the union,
all the excuses,
the dollars. Yeah. No, it's the reality today. There's a massive recession coming. It's tough. Businesses have changed. You know, we're talking post-COVID, but there's this ripple effect of what the hell's going to happen. You know, from what happened, and But if when you and I have this conversation tomorrow about what we can do to support you in this cause. To me, I'm having a different sort of discussion with you. I have a different mindset on, what is the value? What can we do to get this thing up and running? And, how can we get some traction? And then what are different avenues, vehicles, tools, and other that will produce a result? Do you see the correlation?
It's a mind shift for me. It really is. And it was something I was struggling with.
This happens on the Bjorn Identity.
Only on the Bjorn Identity. Right. Like, because if we were just sitting in the office today having the same conversation.
Drinking coffee and water because Trevor and I have been on diets.
Yeah, it's just
we're loads of fun.
Massive amounts. I got my bottle. You've got yours. Tons of water.
Slurpy.
But yeah, no, I think, again, creating a structured conversation. And I have to say this, Kai, just even the amount of time you spend, because we also have our other podcast where leaders connect.
Yep.
On Spotify. And my approach...
It's already been tried, true, and tested. And
it's out there. There's like 20 episodes. And my approach to that was so much more laissez-faire, like just show up, hit record, and let's see what we get. And your preparation and your attention to these conversations before they even have, it's remarkable. It's really inspiring to see how you're taking the Bjorn identity, and it's not just I'll do something. It's like I have to give you credit. Like you really, you're showing up and doing it. I'm impressed.
We had created a few at 3. Now we're a bunch.
No, I'm impressed.
Of episodes.
I'm impressed.
No, listen. I think that's the goal, and you'll be doing this because this is a vehicle for us to educate people on corporate connections and where leaders connect, because we both see huge value in it. But it's whether you join our company or don't join, there are skills that can be learned. There's techniques and tactics that can be developed to produce better results. And that's essentially when I got into this with the Bjorn Identity was how could I, give some of this stuff back. You saw in some earlier episodes that we did, it's these traits that we learn and adapt that produce these results. And so, just having this quick conversation about fundraising, every single one of the individuals watching this has a cause, has been asked for $1, and so fantastic, but kind of interesting if we could start looking at some of these things just a little bit differently. It's relationship based. Business is relationship based. Life and family is relationship based. Us being in this gorgeous facility is 100% relationship based with Vincent.
Yeah, it's because Paul comes in.
Yeah.
Paul makes a couple connections. He falls in love with what we do and how we do it. He opens up connections for us generously.
By default, they like us and they genuinely are open to meeting us.
We eat some amazing Portuguese chicken with them. Have to we have to shout out to La Fiamma.
La Fiamma.
And what he's doing.
Shout out to. I was going to wear this today, but then I said, you know what?
A big shout out to Renard.
Look at that. 100% clean beef chicken.
Viandeonling.com.
Viand. And so we get all our meat from there, and they're fantastic and great guys. But it is relationship based.
Of course.
You know, the piece I like to keep pounding on, and I think that as we get more and more and more and further down the road with developing the Bjorn Identity, the Where Leaders Connect podcast, is that there are common traits, skills, techniques that individuals have when we bring those type of people together.
Them type of people.
Great things happen,
of course.
And that's what I love to push the needle, because we're actively raising money right now for the Geordie Theatre. Yeah. And for Angelman Foundation.
And we've got a lot of other stuff for members. We have, we did a lot for Rick and his daughter when she was going through cancer, and that's never going to go away. But
we could just get better at it and have a better mousetrap, better machine. Yeah. It bodes well for us to have a little bit more impact, and that's what we talk about. I still am amazed. The people come through the office and telling me about Trevor, how great Trevor is. I'm like, Trevor ain't that great. Oh yes, he is.
Take a look at our QuickBooks account. Yeah. Let me show you under the hood. Yeah.
But then I find out about a connection that you made that impacted someone's life or generated a crap load of opportunity for the business. That type of thing, that transactional relationship piece that we have, and it's not bad to say it. Relationships can be, beneficial and vis-a-vis transactions, and that's engagement, right? Just break the words down, like we did today when we looked at, this philanthropy, fundraising, and sponsorship, and having a better sense of the two pieces. And so I look forward to doing some more of this stuff and bringing it together into our world, which is, that referral marketing, networking, creating opportunities for our community and better understanding this. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah. That was a nice lead in.
Thank you for the mind shift.
To a no question. Yeah. But it's a quick episode for episode 4. Really, really happy to have Trevor here. We're going to do a lot more. We're going to get better. The whole goal is that we create
What's happening
value.
with your mic? I'm pointing to your face. You're pointing to your shoulder.
I'm getting used to the mic.
You're getting used to it?
First episode, I didn't move. It was a statue.
I'm not moving.
Now I'm trying to be too cool.
Yeah, too cool.
But the Bjorn Identity is a passion I have, and the goal is that we create value, and we have some impactful sessions that can get people thinking and possibly have an impact in their lives. And so, Trevor Botkin, you have an impact in my life. I'm happy to be partners with you on a daily basis.
That's awesome.
Growing our community, man. You're awesome.
Yeah. And by the way, a lot of people come
fist
to the
pump.
office.
Bobby G didn't get a fist pump. That's the first fist pump on the Bjorn Identity. And it was with you, Trev.
What I was going to say is a lot of people come to the office and tell me how great you are too. And I say, I know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I know.
I'm lying. I said I know.
I know.
But I still have petty jealousy.
It's not so bad.
Thanks, Marie, for helping us out here and making this work. And thanks to Renard and Remarque, the company that allows us to come in with this gorgeous, sexy studio.
It's gorgeous.
I'm Kai Bjorn, Corporate Connections Canada, along with my partner, Trevor Botkin. And the Bjorn Identity episode 4 is done. Thanks for listening. Ciao.